What's up everyone, Justin here back again with another video, and some of you may have seen the title and may be like, I wonder what clickbait this asshole's got for me today. But I'm sorry to inform you that this is in fact no clickbait. I'm not FouseyTube and I don't plan on making 23 goodbye or I'm done videos without ever actually having the intention of quitting YouTube. This is going to be one of my last videos and the last time that you're going to hear me speak on a YouTube video because I am in fact ending my YouTube journey. Now before we go ahead and go on, I do want to ask you guys to stay and watch this video to the end because not only am I going to explain why I'm stopping YouTube, but I'm also going to be saying my final thoughts on certain matters, let you guys in on some very important things happening in my life right now that I haven't really opened up about, and also express my gratitude for you guys for sticking around for this hell of a journey. So let me start off by saying that what I'm going to be stating right now in this portion of the video is my experience and my opinion on certain matters. So despite if you agree or disagree with what I may mention, I hope we can all find the decency to respect each other's opinions. Now, there were many reasons why I contemplated ending my YouTube journey, one of the most prominent ones being my dying passion for the game and the narrative, which began around December end time of 2017, around the time that Antorus was released. It was at that point that I really began to lose my passion and drive for playing World of Warcraft due to a myriad of reasons. Let's just say that Legion wasn't my fondest expansion, and I feel like the current progression of WoW's gameplay is becoming a tad more stale, with Blizzard focusing on implementing mechanics in a game style that focuses on quantitative aspects rather than qualitative ones. But I just decided at the time to take a short break from the game and focus on the upcoming semester, and maybe like in a few months or so, I'll have the thirst to play WoW again. That never happened. In fact, my account was pretty much frozen for about 7 months, where I only logged on every other blood moon to either get a shot for a video or do some battlegrounds with a couple friends. There were many times where I did want to play WoW, but when I logged in, there wasn't anything to do. Nothing fun to do, at least for me. Nothing but world quests, grind for artifact power, and do the weekly Mythic Plus, which is cool, right? Except I've been doing this for over a year already as is. There was a point in time where I seriously thought to myself that I would rather do my homework than log on and do my chores in Legion, because at least that would be more productive in the end run. But this is only scratching the surface for me. My drive towards keeping up with WoW's story and the overall lore also waned considerably, not only as a result of me not being able to force myself to play World of Warcraft, and trust me guys, I did. I tried very hard not to give up, but also I felt like each piece of new information added to WoW's lore was something new, which is good of course. Only problem is, a lot of these things constantly override or contradict recent establishments of what is supposed to be considered canon. It's hard to support the narrative and have an unwavering love for the story when the consistency between old and new pieces of information either lack depth or override one another constantly. And I'm in no way saying that adding new information is bad, of course not. That is to be expected when we talk about things like the Legion and the Void, but there are too many times where I feel like Blizzard isn't consistent with their own writing, and that's a huge problem for me because it's hard to invest in the story. Now of course I can't say anything about Battle for Azeroth because that expansion hasn't released yet. I'm recording this right now on the 5th, and by the time this video will be out and published, it'll either be the day of launch or a few days after. So what I'm saying right now is kind of my thoughts on Warlords of Draenor to Legion. Nothing to do with BFA yet because it wouldn't be fair to judge BFA just solely based on the events of the pre-patch. But again, I just hope that the gameplay from here on out in World of Warcraft shifts away from a solitary facet, where aside from raiding and dungeons, you're essentially cut off from other players and any form of social interaction, mainly because of one-click group finder systems, or you simply don't need to socialize. Aspects which are prevalent in an action RPG rather than an MMORPG. Instead, I hope that World of Warcraft Battle for Azeroth returns to its roots of becoming an immersive world with strong ties within the community that reestablishes a strong social aspect to the game while also maintaining an invigorating narrative. It's certainly partly on the right track so far, with a sense of faction pride and controversy which inevitably will strengthen the community by sparking up debates and incentivizing players to actually be interested in other aspects of the game, such as the story and the lore. So if they can do things like this consistently in future expansions without stripping characters of their depth or development, then I think that WoW will have one of the strongest communities a game can possibly have. The community is already amazing as is. Just add an exciting and non-repetitive or cliche story that makes sense, and WoW will always be on top. That having said though, I'm not an old World of Warcraft elitist or retail hater that fanboys classic over modern World of Warcraft or vice versa. I do think there are some good aspects of today's version of World of Warcraft, just like I think there are some great aspects to old World of Warcraft. I mean, hell, Mists of Pandaria was one of my favorite expansions, and that's a fairly recent expansion. I'm not hating on the game just to hate, I would never do that. I grew up with this game, it's my childhood, and I love it, but it's also because of that I felt it necessary to get this part of the video off of my chest. Also, this is a goodbye video, not necessarily a rant about World of Warcraft video, so I'm trying to keep this portion of the video as short as I can while also explaining why I'm not as interested in the game as I once was. Now, with that out of the way, you might say, well then why quit? Give Battle for Azeroth a chance. And I would if it weren't for this next reason. This reason is bigger than the last reason that I gave as to why I decided to stop playing World of Warcraft so much and end YouTube, and that is school. I know, shitty school, right? Why don't you just drop out, bro? Well, because this is my true passion in my life right now. I'm working towards getting a doctorate's degree for physical therapy so that I can understand more about my spinal injury as well as help those out in like-minded situations. A year ago, I underwent a spinal surgery, L5S1 partial laminectomy, in hopes of freeing up a compressed nerve root that has given me a lot of back pain and heel pain in my left foot. I'm glad to say that the back pain has nearly vanished, but I'm also sad to say that the pain in the heel of my left foot is still very much present at times, which can be very, very disabling. Especially when I do a certain lift or stand up or sit down for too long, which is real shitty when it comes to school and editing videos. Thankfully though, I'm still able to weightlift for the time being, albeit with strict limitations on certain exercises, but it does suck ass when you gotta stand up at your computer rather than sit down in order to spare your back some pain. But this is why I'm studying exercise science. This has always been my calling, and I need to do whatever I can to achieve this goal. However, the medical field is and always has been highly competitive, and to ensure that I can become a licensed practitioner one day, it does mean that I have to devote 100% of my time towards my academics, especially now that school is really starting to pick up. Now, I won't lie, my first year of coming out of high school, I was just super out of it, dude, and you know, hung out and messed around more than I should have rather than taking my courses seriously. However, recently, I discovered that my father was diagnosed with Parkinson's, a pretty horrible and crippling disease which is always progressively degenerating to the point of where it is physically and mentally debilitating. It's very sad because it truly does change the person who has it, and I'm worried that, you know, my dad, the most selfless and one of the most kind people that I have come to know in my life, will one day not be that person anymore. This, in conjunction with various other reasons, made me realize that I had to cut the crap and get my act together. So my goal right now is to focus all of my efforts into my academics and become a licensed physical therapist practitioner as soon as possible, so that if he ever needs the funds to aid him with his condition, and my ass ain't in debt from being in these American colleges, I'll be able to provide it for him. Parkinson's is an absolutely terrible disease. If you want an example of what Parkinson's can do to a person, watch some interviews with Michael J. Fox, who is bravely combating the disease every single day of his life. It's very hard to see someone so close to you fight this horrible ailment, and you know, I don't really get emotional, but sometimes seeing my dad walk around the house at 3 a.m. trying to stave off the symptoms wrought from Parkinson's, which obstructs him from sleeping and being able to live his life, it really does just make my heart hurt. So it's a feeling I hope none of you have to go through, and to those of you who do know the feeling, then I pray for you or your family or friend who is burdened with it in hopes that one day there will be a cure and they will all be able to return to their former lives prior to the encumberment wrought from this terrible disease. If any of you guys are interested in research for Parkinson's or who wish to donate to further research, you can visit the Michael J. Fox Foundation for Parkinson's Research via the link in my description to this video. This website is very up to date and posts updates on their progress more often than Bellular's upload speed, but don't tell him that though, he'll just try to one-up them. Lastly guys, I just want to thank you all so very much. This has been a hell of an experience and a hell of a ride for me these past few years, and I'll never take it for granted. I met a lot of cool ass and insanely creative and supportive people over the years, both in you guys and my fellow creators and peers. I also met some that weren't so great, but 99% of the time, it was awesome. This was a super fun and enjoyable journey. If I were to take one thing out of all of this, it would be that the WoW community is probably one of the most mature and supportive communities a video game can have, which helped me doing what I did a lot more easy and enjoyable. You guys have supported me through my ongoing back injuries, supported my videos even though a lot of them were garbage, and have always felt like an online community that I could rely on through thick and thin. So I do want to thank you guys, because having a platform that reaches out to a community who shared in the passion for a game that I loved so much for so long was truly something that was awesome. Over the years, some of you guys would even PM me or just leave comments in the videos, and some of them were extraordinary, ranging from around 6,000 comments of "Are you Hellscream?" and "Where is Hellscream?" to "Who is Crucial?" to also comments that say "Keep doing what you're doing," to even more heartfelt messages from people who say that my videos helped them endure through tough times going on in their real lives was just really amazing. These past few years of mine have been the hardest of my life, what with all the encumberments dealt to me and my family by the real world. So to see some videos, some dumb dude narrating lore or making machinima of a fictional game with talking squid that crash landed from a flying saucer, to hear that that helped somebody who was struggling with real life shit just like me, it feels really good. No bullshit. Believe you me, I'm keeping it real here. Getting a paycheck for making videos of course was good, but having somewhat of a voice, no matter how small it may have been, that allowed me to get into touch with you guys was something that I'll never forget. I also want to thank my main man Grim, my editor for the past 6 months or so, who through his work has restored the long lost passion that I could not provide through my videos anymore. Without him, this video would have been made 6 months ago, I can guarantee you that. He truly has a passion for the game, as you can see through his work, so if you guys want to check out his stuff, the link to his channel will be in the description as well. But with all of this having said, guys, this will not be the last video on the channel. Sorry to disappoint. You thought you were spared of my presence, but not yet. This video will be the last video that you will hear my voice in, but we got one more video that we are working on that we don't know when it will be out yet because it will require extensive work. This video is going to be a serious machinima called Rin, made in tribute to Varian Rin, much like the Farewell My Brother Arthur's machinima that I worked on when I first started out on YouTube. I always wanted to go back and remaster that video after learning more about editing, but since I decided to end YouTube, I thought it would be more epic to make another video about another awesome character rather than just remaster a video that has already been published. Maybe in the future, when I or Grim have more time, we can go back and work on that. Now I'm hoping that this video, Rin, will close off the channel with a bang, and from what I can see, after structuring all of the script as well as the sound effects, it's probably going to be one of the best videos on the channel, at least I'm hoping. Again though, this video will take a long time to finish, so don't expect to see this out next week. Rather, it might be a few weeks to a month, maybe even over a month. Sorry guys, but that's why when I was working on my own, I barely made machinima. Shit is no joke. But do be on the lookout for it, because I did pull all of my passion that I ever had for World of Warcraft into this last and final project, and I have no doubt that Grim will do the same when he begins animating it. Before we close out this video, guys, I do want to say that although I am stopping YouTube, there is a chance I may upload things here and there in the future, although it probably won't be likely. I'm saying that it's probably not even going to happen at all. This isn't going to be one of those times where, you know, a WoW YouTuber says, I'm done with WoW, and then they're back at it 3 months later. Unfortunately, that's not going to happen. Also, I don't want to disconnect from all of you guys forever, to the point of where you guys are wondering if I'm dead or in a ditch. So follow me on Twitter, where I will post as often as I can. I'll also post monthly updates on the YouTube community page. And also hop in and join our Discord. We have a cool community of people that loves to talk about World of Warcraft and play other games in addition to World of Warcraft. So if you want to meet other cool people, just hop in. Just know not to take things too seriously, because we've messed around a lot. But again, guys, thank you so much. I wouldn't have been able to have done any of this without you, and I personally wish all of you the best wishes and luck in your lives. God bless you all. Now, as my friend Ben would say,
goodbye, old friend. May the force be with you.
And until next time, guys, peace out, take care, and as always, have a good one.